Okay, so let's just dive right in. Imagine for a second that your soul gets audited, but not for your good deeds, not for your morality, but for the sheer, raw intensity of your will. Today, we're exploring an incredibly cryptic and intense spiritual ordeal from the Crimson Audit. It's a form of judgment that totally flips the script on what it means to be worthy. This is the trial of the mirror.
Yeah, just let that sink in. Forget all the usual stuff, sins, virtues, right versus wrong. Throw it all out the window. In this reality, the only thing that counts is the pure, vital force of your being. This one question is the absolute core of the trial. And believe me, it sets some pretty brutal terms for what's about to happen. So here's our plan for this deep dive. We're going to start by exploring the bizarre realm where this all goes down. Then, we'll get into the radical new standard for judgment, the agonizing process of the trial itself, the two starkly different fates, and finally, what it actually means to ascend. All right, our journey starts in the liquid mirror realm. And let me just say, this place is something else. Whatever protections you thought you had, whatever rules you thought governed the universe, they don't apply here. They just dissolve. You are completely and utterly on your own. Now, the concept of the mirror itself is what's really wild. This is not a passive surface you just look into. In this realm, your reflection is alive. It's a fluid, lethal force. The source material calls it a Dionysian upheaval, which is a really cool way of saying it's a chaotic, passionate, untamed rebellion against anything rigid and predictable. It's a force designed to shatter stagnant reality. And who's running this whole show? The Crimson Judge. And get this, he's not just some cosmic enforcer. He is the architect of this place, the designer of this trial, and he has one and only one demand: vital intensity. No excuses, no appeals, just the pure, undiluted power of your spirit. And yeah, it's the Crimson Judge who sets the terms for this audit. This isn't a confession booth. It's not about weighing your past deeds on a scale. This is a completely new and, frankly, a much more terrifying way to measure a soul's worth. Okay, so this is the real game changer. The old system, the feather of a dead morality, was all about static things, stuff you did. It kept you safe, sure, but it was in what the text calls a gilded cage. The new standard, though, is the density of will to power. It's not about what you did, it's about what you are at your absolute core. It's a very Nietzschean idea, a direct audit of your inner drive. You can't rely on the old rules. You have to be like Prometheus and seize your own fire. And this quote just nails the whole purpose of the trial. It's a twilight verdict. It pulls back the curtain and reveals that those old systems, the ones you thought were protecting you, they were actually your jailers. They locked your spirit into a single, fixed identity, stopping you from that messy, chaotic, but glorious process of actually becoming something more. So this brings us to the ordeal itself, the agony of becoming. To pass this thing, this self that you know, your entire identity, has to be completely dissolved so that a truer, more powerful version of you can be forged from the ashes.
And this process is unbelievably violent. It starts with a sonic screech of the sapphire demiurge. Imagine a vibration so intense it acts like a cosmic solvent, stripping away everything that isn't authentically you. It purges the stains of a destiny that you never even chose. This throws the soul into a divine frenzy, a state where every single breath is a battle with the infinite. And out of that chaos, from the sapphire shards of a broken reality, the soul has to build its own truth. And as if that's not enough, you also have to survive the infinite schism. Picture it. You are confronted by 1,000 contradictory versions of yourself, of reality, all at once. Each one is beautiful, each one is lethal. It's a psychological pressure cooker designed to drive any spirit that isn't absolutely unbreakable to total madness. After making it through that cosmic forge, there are only two possible outcomes. There's no middle ground here, no second chances. You are either annihilated for your weakness, or you ascend because of your strength. It's that simple. First up, the fate of the passive spirit. In this trial, the greatest crime isn't being evil, it's being mediocre. Lacking that fire, that will to power, that's a capital offense against reality itself. And the consequence is just chilling. You don't just fail the test. The source says those found hollow are completely consumed. They just vanish into the liquid glass of the judge's eyes, erased by a reality they are simply too weak to exist in.
It's a total ontological liquidation. The universe is just taking out the trash.
But what about the vital spirit, the one who has that core intensity? For them, the outcome is a total metamorphosis. They aren't just spared, they are completely reforged, tempered like steel in a divine fire, and marked for a new, and honestly, terrifying kind of existence. And just look at what they get. They're branded with the rune of the vertical ascent, a mark that literally shifts their spiritual gravity upwards, forcing them away from the easy, comfortable life, the horizontal comfort. This is the first step on the journey to becoming an Übermensch, a higher form of being. Their name gets written down in the registry of the Overmen, and they make the ultimate transition from being a passive nothingness to a self-created everything. So you survived the trial. You've been reforged. What happens now? Well, the trial wasn't the end. It was just the beginning. It's the first real breath you take in a much larger, truly infinite existence. The survivor becomes what the text calls an active nihilist. Now, this doesn't mean they believe in nothing. It means they've become so powerful that they are the creators of their own values, their own meaning. They now live in an upside-down realm where history isn't something that just happened. To them, history is a prophecy of what their own will is about to make happen. They're no longer just a character in the story. They've become the author. And his final thought just reframes the entire thing perfectly. The trial, that terrifying mirror, it was never an obstacle to overcome. It was a window, a doorway into absolute terrifying freedom. It proves that the only true judge is your own reflection in the liquid mercury of reality. Which kind of leaves us with one final haunting thought, doesn't it? If you had to stand before that mirror right now, what verdict would your own intensity deliver?